on with my phone.
Okay, okay, appreciate it. How you doing today?
Oh, I'm all good. What's
Okay,
going on with you?
man. Trying to make a few moves. This weather, Ohio weather. We got all seasons in 1 week.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah. Oh,
you you down south, right?
yeah.
Okay, okay. What, Alabama? I think it is.
Somewhere in there.
Okay, okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna start out with this. I want to understand, like, what got you into music? What was your musical influence that made you want to get into it?
I was in elementary school, so it was basically getting out of class for an hour.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So, what did you start out playing?
I started off playing violin.
Wow, wow. Do you still play a little bit?
Not really.
No.
I could probably still pick it up and hold it, but I'm no match.
This guy. Okay, so you started out with the violin, and then when did you start getting into the singing aspect of it?
Not until like high school. Um, and I changed instruments, changed a few instruments, but in high school, is when I got more into the vocal aspect. You know,
Hmm. And you pretty much play everything, right?
no, I don't play everything. I play at it, but uh, I'm a designer of sound. I'll say that.
Oh, interesting, interesting. A designer of sound.
Yeah.
Okay. So how long was it into high school did you hook up with Sean and Gerald?
Well, I was actually I was where was I at? I was actually at Shaw High School, freshman,
Hmm.
and yeah,
Start doing like the local talent shows and whatnot.
yeah. That was a little later though, but yeah, we did. I did. Me and Gerald did Shaker's talent show or some kind of talent show they had, and we did my school, which was Cleveland Heights talent
Okay,
show.
all right. Did you play any sports while you was at Heights? Because I know Heights a big sports school.
Not at all. No,
No, not
I
even.
I I attempted to go out for baseball in my senior year, and
Uh,
I was doo doo, so I couldn't play baseball.
okay, okay. So when did you guys start taking the music serious? Like, hey, we might be able to do something with this.
It was always serious.
Mm,
It wasn't no unserious moment. It was always serious.
okay. So y'all started formulating a plan, huh?
Oh yeah, immediately.
Wow, wow. And when did you actually start recording anything? Like
Um,
because usually people start out with demos to try to shop and get heard. What was you guys' process?
well, we was trying to create a demo, but the demo, you know, and we was giving our demos to Eddie, and Eddie was turning our demos down, so we didn't get a shot in the studio, in the real studio, for like a few demos. So it was a few demos down the line that we got a chance to go to the real studio. We was just piecing it together with what we had,
Okay,
you know.
okay.
So it was no instamatic thing.
Right, right. So what was the one song or project y'all put together that made Eddie be like, okay, this is it?
Um, it was like a few songs, and he heard. he heard something in that group, in that demo. He heard something, and he decided that he was going to finally take us in the studio. So it was a few songs that ended up being on our the independent record. Um, uh, I Get Hot.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I'm Still was one of the records, which was our introduction into, um, officially being on the radio with that one song. And from there, but it was a few songs on that first record that was the, uh, that he heard and felt like we had something.
Okay, okay, that's dope. Now, did you do production on that, or you was just on the vocals? What was
No,
that?
no.
How was that put
Well,
together?
on that first record, we weren't experienced as far as in the studio or so the first studio trip we had, uh, me and Joe went over there and we was excited. So we showed them the song and all the, Eddie's, players was in the studio. So we showed them the song. And next thing you know, they kicked us out the studio. So that was it. That was the first studio experience. And basically, the next time we heard the song finish, and it was like we was amazed, like, whoa, okay. They went and took it to a whole new level. So yeah.
So you ended up on what, 93 FM? That where it first debuted?
Huh?
Was it on 93 FM where it first started? Where you got your first spin of that joint?
Oh yeah. Shout out to Lynn Tolliver. Lynn Tolliver was one of the first program directors that definitely put it on because of hometown, and he had some influence in the industry, and so he was definitely an influence to get other DJs from other stations to play it, and then yeah, so yeah, he definitely was one of the first to play it.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Get that hometown love. So
Right.
so after, so after you guys created a buzz, what started happening for you?
Oh, everything started happening. Everything started happening really fast at that point. We we were offered more shows, concerts, opening up for national acts in other cities now. So we wasn't stuck with just doing Ohio, circuit. Now we were doing out of state runs, and you know what I mean. So that prompted us to be on Soul Train. That was a whole outlet that happened, and technically that was the main reason we got signed because um, we did a show, and there was a lot of industry there. In the industry, a guy named Hank Caldwell came back and he signed us.
Oh, that's what's up. That's what's up. Tell me about your
Yes.
first experience on Soul Train. Like you said, y'all did Soul Train. Like how was that for you?
I mean, it was exciting. We grew up watching Soul Train. Everybody got up on Saturday and saw Soul Train. You know what I'm saying? That was the highlight of Saturday was Soul Train.
Yeah,
So, to be in the studio with the people, some of them still there when we got there, but yeah, Soul Train was a big deal because that was really like the only black syndicated anything that was on TV.
yeah, yeah. That
So that kind of helped pave a lot of ways for a lot of people, and it definitely opened up doors for us.
that's what's up. So Don Camillia's a pretty cool guy, huh?
Yeah, no
Wow,
doubt.
that's
No
what's
doubt
up.
about it.
Rest in peace. All right. So now you done got all that started. Did y'all start working on the? How long was it before you started working on your second album?
Well, it was kind of like everything happened year after year. So
Okay.
we had the indie record, which was like 85. We got signed, and that was just like 86. And we had the first record on there, Bloodline on Atlantic. And that was, it was just, it was consecutive year after year until like 1990. Every
Hmm.
year we was putting something out.
That's what's up. I remember I was living in Stamford, Connecticut, and what was the joint y'all had? Pop, pop, pop goes my mind. I used to brag. I like, man, they from around the way. They from back at the crib.
Right. Yeah.
Because
That was the first.
a lot of people didn't think nothing came out of Northeast Ohio.
Oh, everything come out of Ohio. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? They just don't, they ain't recognizing it though. But
yeah.
everything, it's a whole bunch of entertainment come out of Ohio.
That's what's up, man. That y'all real consistent with it. So, all right, now as you get into the '90s, what started to transform for the group then? Because it seemed like y'all just really took off.
Um, no, it was just, we were still at that point doing what we felt, you know what I mean? And I think that's, that contributed to the success that came out of it. Um, and, so, that's what I live by now is, doing what you love, you keep doing what you love and you doing it for the love, and that's what, the main thing that we had in common was the love of the music.
Yeah, that's what it was. Now y'all started bringing it back home. Like whose idea or whatever was it to get Treble Productions rolling? Like it was like a music factory for you guys.
Well, that was me and Gerald's idea. Travel actually started in '87,
Hmm.
um, but officially started, popping in '88. Um, and all the while, we were doing the writing of the majority of the songs before we started having the complete production.
Right.
So, but the complete production happened in '88 with Just Coolin'. And so that's when it officially was like, okay, we, took over our own production at this point. We had other producers on the previous record, and which was cool too, the first was Pop Pop, and that was some guys out of LA. Um, and so, but we wrote the song and worked out the how it goes and everything like that. But we weren't the producers. Um, so and with most of the other ones except for Casanova, which was done by the Callaways.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now, at one point, did you start looking for other talent, and what type of talent were you looking for?
I mean, the talent, talent is everywhere. So, something piques your interest, you try to work on it, and you try to put something together. If you feel that, if everybody's not in that mode of, you know, finding the talent or whatever, but uh, I believe in building, on talent that's already there. That had the potential to me to make it. Um, that's willing to listen, that's willing to, go through what it what it takes to, get through this music thing, because it's rough. It's a shark infested business. You know what I'm saying? So you got to be ready for it.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I hear this. It said you got to have a thick skin to really get through this game.
Yeah.
And I
Any
know,
any game really. You know what I mean? It's just you don't think about it that way going in initially, but um, you know, once that money start rolling, it turns into different. It's a different ball game.
yeah, yeah, no doubt. Yeah, things do change. Money changes things, and it ain't always good.
Right.
Yeah, and I see like you guys have built up a real nice stable of talent, man. And I had noticed that was the time when C Love them and DJ Cool Kurt, I started coming up there with them, and I should just sit back and watch how you guys moved, and I really admired y'all movement, man. I thought it was like humongous.
Hey man, again, um, when you're doing what you believe and feel in your heart, then I believe good things come out of it. You know, and if the foundation is the same, then I believe really good things will come out of it because you got the foundation together.
Right,
And so I believe we all at Travel learned on the way. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like we already knew everything. We
right.
learned this along the way, and so it was a lot of lessons learned. And so now that prepares you for later on for you whatever you do after that. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
where we are now, really. So
That's what's happening. Now I remember you had this one project, man, that I thought was going to take over the world. The three-way street joint, man. What happened
yeah,
to that? Because you had like some of the illest rappers, period, ready to just eat.
yeah, yeah. I felt good about it, and the whole idea behind it was travel needed a street side to it.
Right.
And that's what I was going to do was combine it with what was there. And as we continued, I wanted to make sure what was there was what it needed to be. You know what I'm saying? And I started seeing different things. So it was like, okay, how we gonna, do this? And if things need to be changed or need to be right, so that kind of prevented it from really getting it together. And so it was a lot of things that kind of spun off of that. And but that's what happened with Three-Way Street pretty much. But um, you know, uh, it really could have been something for real. I had more acts than I did just in Cleveland. I had some girls down in Atlanta back in the day.
Oh,
Um,
what's the name of them? I think I remember them. It was three of them, right?
no, it was four. It
Four.
was
Okay.
four. It was like four girls in Atlanta, and that's where they kind of introduced me to their homies. They said our homeboys can write the songs and do the tracks. They was doing it, and I didn't know who they were because it wasn't they done some stuff, but they wasn't out there for where I knew. You know what I mean? So it turned out that they was connected to organized noise, and
Mm.
but not really them. It was their homies, and their homies end up being uh, Andre 3000 and Big Boy. Yeah. So yeah. So I took a trip down to Atlanta. I took a trip down to Atlanta to check out everything, hang with the girls, and meet the guys that she said was going to do um, that they wanted to write, and it ended up being them. But of course, you don't know them because they hadn't been out yet.
Right.
They like kids, like for real. They was like 18 for real. And so, and when I heard them spit, I was like, yo, I need them, you know? And
Yeah.
and then and that's when I learned who they was kind of connected. They were connected to, you know, organized noise. And I went over homie's house. He was still living at home, and all his MPCs was in the basement, and that's where they got their start right there.
Wow.
It
That
just
that
so happened. It just so happens why we didn't connect, or why I couldn't grab them, is because at that time that was right on LaFace was right on the verge of opening, and there was a connection there. That's where they had things lying at. So it was like, okay, well, there it is. And so yeah, I've had some experiences like that, and I wanted my team to kind of flourish and do some things. It just didn't happen. So
wow. That's some hip hop history right there, man. That's some hip
yeah,
hop history. And
yeah. Years later, I was in LA, and I want to say I forget what studio I was. I was on I forget what studio. I want to say off Santa Monica somewhere. And I was actually in the studio working on a situation with Dr. Dre. So while I was there, no, that wasn't that time. That was another time. But it was a time that I was in that studio, and then I ran into Andre 3000, and we kind of like chopped it up. It was like, yeah, it was just like crazy. Like he was working on, or he just had, when I ran into him, he just had that, what was it? Bombs Over Baghdad.
okay,
I, yeah. So
man.
yeah, so I've had a few, like experiences like that. I catch them when they're young, and then things don't pan out as far as like Nipsey Hussle. He's another one that came. Somebody brought him to my studio he was about 18, and I liked him. Yeah, I was like, yo, he's like a tall Snoop, but he got a little bit different flow.
Right,
And so I felt like he could do something. So I rapped with him about it, and he told me that he had a plan. Part of his plan was, as we see later on, he had a mission. And I respected that. I still worked with him just for the sake of, like, I felt like, yeah, I'm a work with the young homie.
right.
And you know, and actually uh my boy who had brung him to my studio, when he got his deal, he hit him up and told him to hit me, because at this point I had left LA because of my mom got ill. And so I was, kind of taking care of her. But he hit me up and was like, yeah, Nipsey just got his deal. He said, come on. And I'm in Cleveland. I'm in a whole nother circumstance and situation right now. But it was a, like, I felt it was a good feeling to know that somebody would come back and be like, yo, jump on this, man. You'd open up some ways for me. So
Man, that's amazing. That's man. God bless his soul. That is amazing, man. you've had quite a journey. I
Yeah.
remember Irv. When was the last time you heard from Irv?
Oh,
Irv
I
Gotti?
have, yeah, I haven't talked to Irv in years. Me and his homie, Pat, which is my bro. He he brought Irv to the house, from New York. They all came down and hung out, so, he pretty much how he was then. He's still, is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was another situation that, you know, but he told me about that. He was talking about that, one time we were, I don't know where we were, but he was saying that his sister and Russell was kind of dating, kicking it. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, well, that's, you might as well, try to slide in there somewhere and get, get something off,
Yeah.
but at that time, before he said that, he didn't really have, he didn't really have equipment or stuff like that. Um, so I had a few things that I had sitting around there that I didn't use, and I gave it to him, because I think he probably had some turntables, but he didn't have, like, some the means of like recording or that kind of thing. So,
Right.
and in them days, it wasn't like sampling was like all this time on the sampling. It was it was only a little time on the sampler to try to put things together, so yeah. But yeah, that was another one. There's another little young dude that was a protege that ended up, and my daughter, I got twin daughters, and so their mother wanted me to, tell me about this little dude named, Brian. They was like family, and it's like, yeah, he want to learn how to do music, and I was like, okay. So I used to go pick him up, bring him to the studio, and he would mess around, and I got him an MPC, the same similar like type thing. I had an MP, another one sitting around, gave it to him, and he would come up with beats, and he started coming up with rhymes. Now, before hip hop kind of went to where it is now, where it's, he was kind of on it already. And
Okay.
but anyway, he ended up turning into, you might not have heard him, or maybe you have, but he had a really pretty big following. Just a little guy named Kid Ink.
Yes, I have heard of him. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So he was another one that, but during that time, that was the time I left LA and had to go take care of my mom. So in between that time, a lot of stuff changed. He ended up getting where he was at and doing what he's doing. And, same thing with Nip and whoever else that was out there, but that's the kind of experiences that I've had with in that, that way.
Man, that's you done cross a lot. I think I think you're like one of the most underrated producers like in the game since you stepped in. You know what I'm saying? Because you like I think because you just so laid back. A lot of people don't understand how much work you done put in, man.
Well, yeah, maybe that's probably true. Laid back.
Yeah,
But and that's kind of that's cool at this stage of the game. I'm just like, that's what I want to do, really lay back and just put out music, so uh all the spotlight and ripping and running and all of that, I'm really kind of over that.
yeah.
But
Trying to work. It ran its course.
yeah. I mean, like I said, I done been on, the craziest tours at the peak of our career. So it's like, um, I don't know. I'm just not there. I'd rather pass it on and let somebody else get off. Let me help you. you know, let me help you get where you need to get. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
That's dope. That's dope. You still be on the video games? Because I know like you and Sal used to go at it on the video games.
Yeah, not as much. I gotta get me a PS5, but right now, I haven't had a game system in a minute. I get on there and play my son's.
Yeah.
He got an Xbox, but I'm a PlayStation man, so but I get on there and play his game sometime.
Hmm. Now, how has it been for you balancing fatherhood with the business?
I mean, it's difficult. And it's a lot of difficulties, and they're not just for me, but for a lot of people that's in the business. And it takes its toll. You know what I mean? But it's it don't change for me as far as what I feel about my seeds.
Right.
Um, but it can be difficult. So that's why, now I'm just, I've been in isolation before they had isolation. So
You the
that's
king
why
of isolation, man. I remember we was stuck up at your crib that time. It was a winter storm, man, and this the thing I always remember about being stuck at your home, man. In your refrigerator, right? You had everything for a sandwich except some damn meat. You had all the condiments, everything. We have to order pizza, man. I appreciate you at least feeding us, man.
Oh yeah, we gonna eat. If nothing else, we gonna have something to eat.
Man, those were good times, man. Those were good times, man.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
now
Yeah.
how have you been coping since the passing of your brothers, man?
I mean, it's one of them things you never, nothing like that goes away. Nothing traumatic goes away. You know what I mean? Despite whatever the situation is, you still go through stuff, and especially as much as we have done together and accomplished together is even more because every time I hear songs, it's a reminder. Every
Yeah,
time I see a video, it's a reminder. So it's like it never goes away. Um, but you just have to learn how to deal with it, man. You have to, I've had to talk to different people. I started an organization called Soul, SOEL, Saving Our Entertainers' Lives, but it's basically about mental health and um, how to cope. You know what I
yeah,
mean? I don't know all the answers, but I just know that it's a real thing. And you know, from the way I've, grown up being laid back and not saying different things, that could have an effect, so I've learned that, you gotta let that out. You can't hold that in. You can't carry those weights on your shoulder for your whole life. You gotta let it out. And so I learned that, and I had to learn it hard, but it's the truth. I have to live by that right now.
right.
So
Yeah, I
because the stress, when you dig into the whole mental health aspect, you find out that the stress is more strenuous on you than you really think, and you think that you can handle it, and you're not really handling it.
right. Just
You know?
suppressing a lot of times, especially we as black men. We that's what we do. We suppress way too much,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah,
Because I definitely understand. Because I know like when my mother passed, just like mentally. I was just, it was like a whirlwind, you know what I'm saying? And then just really, at that time, I had a great support system, you know what I'm
Right.
saying? That I had actually had to learn how to cling to, because I was always like, I'm cool, I'm all right, but I was really messed up in the head for real, for real. You know what I'm saying? And just really
Yeah.
had to navigate that whole path and learn how to cope, which actually
Yeah.
helped me out a little later when my father had passed. It still messed me up a little bit, but it was a little easier to deal with because of the prior experience. And like you said, you know, just you hear stuff, you see stuff, and it's like, good days, but you know, mostly good days, but every now and then you kind of just take a little dip.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think you can avoid it. And, I think you can avoid, you know, how you prioritize other things. But as far as them kind of feelings, you can't really avoid because they can happen at any point. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
you have to learn how to deal with it because you may be in different places that you gotta know how to deal with it, and everybody don't know how to deal with it. And I believe that's a big problem. I think that's part of the answer with the all the police brutality and things that's going on. It's not to take away from what the real issue is, but for real, there's a lot of mental health that needs to be attended to across the country, and people are denial, and that includes police officers.
yeah, you
They're not
100%.
they're not exempt from the conversation. In fact, they should be, really tested and checked more because of the things that they commonly see on the job, or some of them come from overseas, being in the military in the armed forces, and they go through a lot of over there. So they got PSTD, you
Yeah,
know,
post traumatic syndrome.
PTSD. Yeah, and that you know is any psychiatrist or anybody that deals with mental anything, they'll tell you, and they have to tell you, there's no, you've never heard of somebody with a mental issue saying that they were fixed. You know what I mean? Because
Right.
you have no, you have no gauge on how to fix that.
Yeah.
You know what I
You,
mean? We're talking about a part of your body that you can't even get to see. You can scan it all you want to, but what you gonna do to it for real, for real?
yeah. And then especially
You
most
know?
people don't even know how left to center they really are anyway. You know, and it's like
I mean,
that.
yeah, I mean, but that's, that I think that's where the reality checks, that we need to have the mechanisms in our foundation, in our communities, in our, so that people can, without getting, bent out of shape, just, yo, let me let you know what's going on, bro. You messing up right now.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's not enough of that to let people know. Like, I understand, because some of it is not just, because of you just a bad person. Some of it's because of what you've gone through, and this is your way of, of seeking help. This is your way of, screaming out to anybody that can listen,
Mm,
but police ain't listening. You know what I
nah,
mean? Them the
nah.
wrong people to try to get to listen. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So you need, there needs to be um, more communication inside of our establishments and our communities outside of just social media, but really, understanding where the people are, because everybody didn't come up like you. Everybody didn't come up like me.
Right. yeah, circumstances. And like I said, I always felt police, like you said, they really got to do something with them as far as training, you know, because it don't take no time to become a cop. It don't take really no time at all.
And they got less training than a barber. A barber gets more training than a cop.
Go
You
figure.
know, and they cutting hair. You know what I mean? These guys toting around guns and got some authority, but they get less training than a barber. You know what I
And that
mean? Something
yeah,
ain't
that
right with
math
that.
just don't add up.
Yeah, that's like they trying to convince us that that Floyd overdosed on some drugs, but and they was trying to say that the crowd was so unruly that they had to restrain the crowd. Yeah, they got to restrain them people from screaming at us to get off his neck. We got to restrain them people. They unruly. So you got one cop restraining several people on the sideline, right?
Right.
But you got three cops on one dude that's handcuffed on the ground.
With
Right.
a knee
Yeah.
in his neck.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense.
You
So,
know, that whole situation is you would think is really black and white. You know what I'm saying? Like it should be as clear as day. But I learned a long time ago that even when it's on film, like the Rodney King situation,
yeah.
even when even when it's on film, it's still not a sure shot at all.
Oh, listen, it goes beyond film because right along that time with Rodney King was Latasha. I can't think of her last name right now, but she, 15-year-old, was shot by a Korean clerk
Yeah,
in
okay, I remember.
LA. Yeah, so she was convicted by the jury, and the judge let her off with probation. She killed a 15-year-old, and it was on video, store video.
Yeah,
So that was going on at the same time as Rodney King. That actually happened around the same time as the Rodney King situation, and so it was a lot going on at that time out there.
man.
But yeah, we I think overall we have to do more internally. Get a lot of internal things together and the mentalities together to make some moves for us.
And we
You
gotta
know,
check up on each other more often. You know what I'm saying? As brothers, I don't think we tend to check up on our brothers enough. You know what I'm saying? I was watching what's that? I Am Athlete. You know what I'm saying? And they would ask each other, they would have like a mental check, like on a scale of 1 to 10, like one being the worst, 10 being the best. How are you mentally? You know what I'm saying? And just having them type of conversations, amongst our friends and our peers, help them open up a little bit.
right? Yeah, yeah. Gotta have
Just
conversation.
just like it was crazy. What was the young brother? He played for the Buccaneers, and they found him in the hotel room. Like nobody heard from him for days, and then they just found him in the hotel room, dead.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't know the story on that.
Yeah, it was like right after the Super Bowl, they won the Super Bowl and everything. They was like, they hadn't heard from him in a while. It,
Oh, okay. So
yeah,
they find out, nothing.
yeah, not that I had found that I had heard so far. So, but yeah, I was like, wow, you never know what goes on in a person's mind. What's going on in a person's mind?
Nah, no, you don't. Yeah, no, you don't.
I think that's pretty dope. You got an organization though. Like if people want to help you with your organization or whatever, how can they get in touch with you? About the organization that you have.
It's SOEL. foundation.org. And they can go on there, they can send, a message through there. Because I definitely need to start amping it up some more and get some things done with it, because it's definitely an issue, and it's been an issue, so it's still the same. It hasn't changed.
Right. Hey, you do, man. Just holler at me. I like to play a part in that. Whatever part I can play to help, get the word out. I definitely love to be on your team and and support you and something like that, because it's needed. It's really
Yeah.
needed.
Oh yeah, because this generation we got going on now. If we don't get them together, it's gonna be they're gonna have some problems. It's gonna be
Yeah,
some issues. So
yeah.
yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So yeah, we'll stay in tune and link up. I'm where I'm at.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah.
All right. I definitely want to thank you for your time, man. I appreciate you. I love you, bro. I'm glad to see you doing well. You coping, you handling everything. That's beautiful. I do got one quick thing. Versus. Who would you like to see in the verses? As far as Levert versus who? Who you think would be a nice matchup?
I don't know. I really couldn't tell you the truth, man. Tell you the truth. I don't even know. I have to think about that.
Yeah, might have to hit Swinson Tim them up like, man, go ahead, man, make something happen with Levert, man. Get Mark on there, have him do
Yeah,
it. Get somebody, that'd be dope, man.
yeah, yeah. You think about it. You tell me. I don't know. I'll
I'll
think
figure
about it.
it
Huh?
out. I said I'll figure it out.
All right, that's what's up.
All right,
So
thank you
yeah,
for your
man.
time, man.
All right, y'all.
All right, stay blessed, Mark.
Yep, you too.
All right, thank you. Peace.